Hi guys! So, yesterday was kind of a mess, and I did make a video, but then I put it on private because, I got some negative feedback really fast, and it was just a bad day, and that added on top of it. And, anyway, first of all, today is my birthday. I'm turning 19. And, let's see. This video is going to be about how I found out about, how I found out that I had an eating disorder. And that is a story that I haven't really thought about for a while, and I feel like it's a lot different from normal people that figure it out. But anyway, freshman year, I just didn't eat very much, and I felt anxious every time I was around food, and whenever I was anxious, I didn't eat, and I was depressed, and when I was depressed, I didn't eat. Whenever I was talking to a crush, I got super excited and super anxious, so I didn't eat. So I had a lot of times where I just didn't eat. And the summer after my sophomore year, I had gotten accepted into taking college classes early while I was still in high school. So I was taking psychology, which was just like general psychology, the first one that you take for beginners and stuff. And the second class was English 101. I remember I really enjoyed my psychology class. Hi. And okay. Then we got on to the topic of eating disorders, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of these signs. And then whenever I got home, I did more research, and I was like, it just felt like I knew that's what it was. Like, I hadn't been diagnosed until I started getting therapy, and that disorder was at its worst, which was like a year and a half after I found out, that I was like, oh, this description in the psychology book and from all this research sounds a lot like me. And I didn't tell anyone until junior year, and that was because my best friend at the time, named Faith, put her hand around my wrist. Of course, she's a taller girl, so she's a taller girl. I think she's like 5'11" or 6 foot. So she has bigger hands than I do because I'm 5'4". I'm a little shorty. But, she put her hand around my wrist all the way up to around my elbow, and she was like, "Look at this. You need to eat more, girl." And this was at lunch break. And I would eat like 50% of my lunch, and then I would just go to the bathroom because I would get so anxious and just sit there until it was like 2 minutes before the bell rang, and then I'd go out and grab my stuff and go to class. And that day, since we were eating outside because it was summertime, whenever we were walking inside to dump our trays, I pulled her aside and I was like, I have to tell you something. And she was like, "Oh, okay, you can just say it." And I was like, "I really like your hair today," because I could not make myself say it out loud. And I finally messaged her on Facebook later that afternoon and told her, and she was like, "Oh, oh man," and was like, "Oh crap, that's real serious." And I was telling her that it bothered me when she put her arm or her hands around my arm, and she stopped doing it, so that was good. But yeah, that's how I found out I had an eating disorder. I didn't tell anyone except for that one best friend at the time. And then I was very slowly coming out to other people, like once a year. It was to my therapist next, and then the next school year, I have my boyfriend, and I told him about it, and he didn't really understand, which is a normal thing. And whenever I wouldn't eat all of my food, he would be like, "Oh, are are you sure you're full? Did you eat all you could?" And I was like, "Yeah," even though I'm lying. And then after I went to treatment and I was gone away from him for a month, I didn't really notice how severely it impacted my life, like all around, more than just my physical appearance and my hair loss and my dry skin. It affected way more than that. It affected my social relationships, and then whenever I got back, I had to tell all of my doctors, and that was actually very embarrassing to me because I had to sit in the room and tell them. So, kind of been lying to you doctors all this time, but yeah, I'm anorexic. They just thought I had like a fast metabolism, and they kept checking my thyroid for years before the eating disorder because I was always on the lower end. But They just thought I had the fast metabolism because my thyroid always said it was on borderline high. So they were like, oh, she just probably doesn't like eat enough for her active lifestyle. Okay. I think that's about it. I need some more video ideas. Bye, guys.